Here are two other layers right up your alley. Have a friend in Maryland who noted school funding drastically cut in the last years. Baltimore top cities with lead in old buildings. Yes. In fact, the Gray family, both those kids had lead poisoning. I imagine in a neighborhood like that, the incidence of lead poisoning is astronomically higher than in neighborhoods that have been gentrified. There's no doubt in my mind. A, I would imagine people are not as aware about lead as an issue. B, nobody has the money when they're going to rent a place to bring in a lead inspector. Nikki and I, when we came back down from New York, from upstate, because Air America insisted that I come in, I'm not even going to get into that. We rented a place in, I think, West Village, or just basically, I don't know, Greenwich Village. It was a nice place. I mean, but it was old. And that's how come we could afford it, frankly. And we went in there, and it was like, a lot of paint on the walls. And at the last minute, Milo was like 2 or 3, maybe 3 at this point. The last minute, Nikki freaks out. She's like, we got to get a lead inspector in there because I'm worried about it. So I meet the lead inspector there. The guy's got a machine that you put up on the wall. It's like a sonar. And it bounces back. And depending on how much it bounces back, that tells you how quickly it bounces back. That tells you whether the presence of lead. And he swabs the floors. Because, there are cracks in the wood floors. See if there's any lead dust in there. Can't measure that in the moment, but he can only measure the walls. Puts the thing up to the wall. He says it goes up to 10 is the highest. Puts it up against the wall. He stands there and he's just like, oh, wow. And he looks at me and goes, my machine can't go high enough for how much lead is in these walls. This is on an incredibly coveted street, in Manhattan now, but this was, he's like, now we've already put down the rent. We've already put down the deposit. And he's checking the swabs. He checks all over and he goes, this place got a lot of lead. And I said, is it safe? Would you have your kid? And he goes, not if I had any opportunity not to live here. And the whole thing cost, I don't know, $300-400. And so I called up the broker and I said, we can't move in. We need our deposit back. I was eating the cost, I think, of the lead guy. And for a moment, she's like, oh, I can't do that. You already paid. And I said, look, you got 2 options. You give me the money back and promise not to rent that place to anybody with a kid. Or we don't move in for 2 months while the owner pays about $40,000 to abate the lead in there. And the messenger to the check over the next day. And she knows. I mean, I think she was quite convinced too. I mean, obviously she's not going to put kids in there. But the idea that anybody's getting a lead inspection for their house and those things, and then there's no pressure. There's no pressure to abate it.